Okay. All right.
Also, you decided to come.
Okay. All right. If we could get everybody to take a seat. I don't want to quite do it like they do at the movies where we have some of our color guards walk up and down with their rifles and move people to the center, but if you can do that or point out where there's a seat, we have people standing in the back. I'd hate for our fire chief to come in and declare us in violation of some fire code and have to remove me and all the other elected officials. Jason, are you going to come up and Robert? Good evening. On behalf of Mayor Lewis, the Town of Gilbert Council, I would like to welcome all of you here this evening. I want to thank you for coming out to honor these two individuals and their families for their service and sacrifice to our country. At this time, would you please stand? And I would ask our honor guard to bring the colors forward.
Detail. Hold. Left. Face. Present. Arms.
Would Maggie Reef please come forward?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Elena Bates. Elena, would you come forward? She's going to lead us in the pledge.
Will you please join me in saying the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Ready. Two. Post. Colors. Right. Face. Forward. Mark.
Keegan Bates, would you please come up and lead us in our invocation?
Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for this glorious time we have to come and celebrate our soldiers returning safely. We thank Thee for their service and all the time and effort they put in to keep us safe and make sure that we will always remember America and all the great and glorious things we have in our freedoms. We thank Thee for this meeting and all the great people who helped to bring it. Father, we thank Thee for the opportunity to remember all the time and effort that was put into keeping all of us safe and making sure everyone stays strong. And we ask a blessing on the soldiers who are still fighting out there today, that they will be safe and return home safely as our soldiers have to us. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to ask Mayor Lewis to come up. He has a couple of comments he'd like to make to start.
Two announcements in recognition of our veterans. There are two faith groups that are hosting events that are free of charge and for the entire community. This Sunday night at 7 p.m. at the Mission Community Church is a patriotic music program. We invite you, especially our veterans. The second event will be Thursday, July the 4th in the evening at Central Christian Community Church. The fireworks show, again, the community is invited, and the nearby Campo Verde High School and the soccer fields are also available for families to come, put blankets out, enjoy, and celebrate the freedom of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Is anybody else warm besides me? You know, when I sat up on that dais, when it got to be 100 degrees, I followed the lead of former Mayor Johnson of Phoenix, that if it hit 100, the ties came off. But only for you veterans will I wear a tie, a long sleeve shirt, and my jacket when it's 110 out. I'd like to start off by thanking our Arizona Patriot Guard riders. You saw them escort in our two honorees and their families this evening. You see them standing very proudly holding their American flags. Please give them a nice round of applause. And at this time, I'd like to ask all of our servicemen and women and veterans to either stand, or if you cannot stand, please raise your hand and be acknowledged for your service to our country. Thank you all. You know, the town of Gilbert has been recognized not only within our local news media and other places, but by the Department of Defense. Now, for those of you who noticed all those marvelous cookies, cupcakes, and other goodies that are going to wind your children up and add a few pounds to all the rest of us that worry about such things, right behind there is our American Freedom Award. This was one, and probably the most significant, recognitions the town has received, and this one was given to us by the Department of Defense for our support of our veterans, our servicemen and women. But thank you all for being here this evening, because this is one more way that we honor and recognize, in this case, Gilbert residents that have served overseas and are returning safely to us and their families. We have elected officials in the audience. I'll acknowledge our representatives in a minute, but we have our entire council here: Vice Mayor Ben Cooper, council members Jen Daniel, Eddie Cook, Jordan Ray, Victor Peterson, Jared Taylor. Would you please stand? Thank you. This is our 11th ceremony, starting about 2 years ago now, Jen? No, almost 3 years ago. We have honored now 17 returning servicemen and 1 Gold Star wife. We've honored those at the beginning of their careers who have served their country, are coming back to start their or restart their college education, start their families, start their civilian life, to those who have served for 20 and 25 and 30 years and have finished their military career. And for those of you who were here last time, you remember that we honored one who was kind of in the middle, but on his 10th tour of duty, he was hit by an IED. And for the past 3 years, he has been in rehabilitation and recuperation. Now, for those of you who were here, you will remember that not only did he stand and give it a little speech, but he walked out with his 2 Army Ranger buddies. They helped him as he was escorted down this hallway. as of a week ago. He could do that on his own with the use of a walker and just his mother or his father to help steady him. That's how much progress he has made. We joked about it the other day that his major reason, his overriding goal for working so hard is so that he can get out to his own place. He loves his parents. They're great people, but he's just tired of his mother telling him that he can't wear these tennis shoes or that pair of socks. All right? Now, at this time, I would like to ask Mayor Lewis to come forward to introduce our first honoree.
Captain Robert Martinez and family, if you could please come stand to my right. Give it this angle right over here. Captain, I'm going to let's pass the microphone down. And who do we have here?
My wife Judy, my friend Tina and Charles,
And who's right here?
and my mother-in-law Emily.
We present flowers to Judy and your mom, and thank you. And I mentioned something very special, that while serving in Kuwait, Chaz heard that there was another individual from Arizona. And so he went to find him, and that's where he met Robert, and asked the question, well, where are you from, where are you from? And then they discovered Gilbert. And this gave Judy and Tina a chance to get to know each other, and we're glad that that friendship has continued. We are honored, and to Captain Martinez and to Sergeant Bates, this is the finest activity that Gilbert has. And we thank you for being here to recognize the two of you and all of our veterans, and to give those in attendance a few more details about, starting with Captain Martinez. There's a proclamation that I will be giving to you in just a moment, and I'll read it first. Whereas the town of Gilbert wishes to acknowledge and honor through Operation Welcome Home those Gilbert residents who have served a tour of duty overseas in the course of their military commitment to the United States of America. And whereas Captain Robert Martinez, a resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 17 years in both the United States Air Force and Army, and whereas Captain Robert Martinez, having completed basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, and having completed advanced training in Fort Benning, Georgia, and whereas Captain Robert Martinez has served his country honorably throughout his service and deployment at various locations, including Kuwait, and whereas Captain Robert Martinez has received numerous medals and awards, including the Meritorious Service Medal, the Air Force Achievement Medal, the USAF Outstanding Unit Award, the USAF Good Conduct Medal, the Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, the Overseas Service Ribbon, the USFA Longevity Service Award, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M device and USAF Training Ribbon, and whereas in recognition of his service and the support of his family, especially his wife Judy, having provided while he has been away serving his country, now therefore I, John W. Lewis, Mayor of the town of Gilbert, do hereby declare Thursday, July 27th, 2013 as Operation Welcome Home Captain Robert Martinez Day. Captain Martinez, thank you. Thank you. Captain Martinez, we're going to invite you to stay, and other family members, you may be seated and continue to watch. Thank you.
Captain, you stay here. We're not done with you. We have several other proclamations at this time. I'd like to ask Buchanan Davis to come up. He is representing U.S. Senator Jeff Flake. Senator Flake has supported us since the outset. Of course, he's been promoted since he started out as a congressman. But Buchanan, would you please come forward?
Thank you for having me here. And the senator writes addressed to Captain Robert Martinez. Dear Robert, thank you for your service to our country. I understand that since 1996 you have served in the military in many capacities, including as commander of headquarters and headquarters company at Camp Arifjan, Kuwait. It is with much admiration that I thank you for the personal sacrifices you and your family have experienced. The many awards and medals you have earned bear witness to the heroism, leadership, and courage that you have demonstrated. It is an honor to be among the many in recognizing your dedicated service in preserving our freedoms. Again, thank you and best wishes for the future. Signed, Jeff Flake, United States Senator.
What happened to my camera people? Okay, we'll get them later. There we go. All right. Okay. Please come back, Buchanan. Remember that, the rest of you. A little slower. All right. Okay. Thank you. And now I'd like to ask Lee Huff to come forward. He is representing Congressman Matt Salmon.
So many cool things here. First, Congressman Salmon sends his regrets that he's not able to be here. I think it's something to do with the heat. But he's back in D.C. fighting the good fight for you. And he has sent a letter to and flown a flag over the Capitol for you. And this is his letter. Captain Martinez, after a distinguished record of service to our country, it is with recognition of your dedication and sacrifice that I welcome your return to our community. I want you to know that I'm deeply impressed with your service record and the numerous honors and medals that have been awarded you. I also thank your family, who has made tremendous sacrifices in supporting you while you served. I present you with our nation's flag, which has flown over the nation's capital in your honor. I pray God's blessings to be upon you in all your future endeavors. Warmest regards, Congressman Matt Salmon.
Why don't we do that so you can at least hold that up?
Oh, okay. Where's my photographer?
Okay, thank you. No, we'll keep it over here. I haven't seen her. Is Penny Pugh with us this evening? All right. And now I would like to ask Representative J.D. Messner to come forward and read the proclamation. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Not J.D. Messner. Okay, we'll get both of them up here. Representative Warren Peterson will read the proclamation from our Legislative District 12 and 17 legislators, President of the Senate, Andy Biggs, and Speaker of the House, Andy Tobin.
Thank you. Captain Martinez, it's an honor and privilege to be with you tonight. Thank you for your service. This is a proclamation from the Arizona House of Representatives, House recognition of Captain Robert Martinez. Whereas Captain Robert Martinez, a resident of the town of Gilbert, Arizona, joined the United States Air Force in 1996 and completed basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. And whereas Captain Robert Martinez served in the Precision Measurement Equipment Laboratory at Luke Air Force Base through June 2000, and whereas in June 2008, Captain Martinez entered the Army Officer Candidate School at Fort Benning, Georgia, and was commissioned as second lieutenant in October of 2008 and served overseas as project officer and subsequently commander of headquarters and headquarters company at Camp Arafian, Kuwait. And whereas Captain Martinez has earned numerous honors and medals, which include the Meritorious Service Medal, the Air Force Achievement Medal, the USAF Outstanding Unit Award, the USAF Good Conduct Medal, the Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, the USAF Longevity Service Ribbon, the Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M device, the Army Service Ribbon, the Overseas Service Ribbon, and the USAF Training Ribbon. And whereas the town of Gilbert is proud to extend a warm welcome home to Captain Martinez, honoring him and his family for their commitment and service to the United States Air Force and the United States Army, this great state of Arizona and the United States of America. Therefore, the members of the Arizona House of Representatives hereby recognize Captain Robert Martinez for his outstanding service in the United States Air Force and the United States Army and extend best wishes for his success and happiness in the future. Dated this 27th day of June 2013, signed Speaker of the House Andy Tobin, State Representative Warren Peterson, and State Representative J.D. Mesnard.
At this time, Captain Martinez, would you like to say a few words? Okay.
I just want to thank everyone. I'm very humbled right now. This is a great honor for you to bestow upon me. I just want to say that, everything that I do, and I know that my, fellow soldiers do, it's never for awards or medals. It's always for love of country, love of community, love of family. And I could truly say that I love the town of Gilbert, and I love all of you. Thank you very much.
We're halfway over. And don't worry, I know that some of you are concerned that there's a council meeting that's supposed to start at 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure they're not going to start it before we get done. At this time, I would like to ask our Chief of Police, Tim Dorn, to come forward and say some introductory remarks about our next honoree.
You ready? Sergeant Gilbert Police Officer Andy Bates, if you will come forward and bring your family forward, please. I notice everybody's wearing infantry blue tonight. That's a good thing. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Well, Andy's bringing his family up. It truly is an honor and a privilege tonight to be given the honor of introducing to you Sergeant Andy Bates, the Arizona Army National Guard, who is also Gilbert Police Officer Andy Bates. Andy exemplifies the role of a citizen soldier. When he's here at home, he defends the homeland, he defends your community as a Gilbert Police Officer assigned to our patrol division, and also as a member of our elite Tactical Operations Unit SWAT team. Andy's also a member of the Arizona Army National Guard and the 1st of 158th Infantry. I got to tell you, I sleep a little bit better at night now knowing that I got him back home. I truly thank Sergeant Bates and all of his fellow service members who are willing to take that step forward to defend our country overseas. And I also have to make one other comment, and that's about the family. I made a comment at a promotion ceremony at the police department the other day about family members, and about family members of soldiers and family members of police officers, because there really is a common bond that goes there. We had a saying in the Army that the hardest job in the Army is to be the spouse of an Army soldier, and that is absolutely true. So on behalf of the men and women of the Gilbert Police Department, thank you all very, very much for what you've done and the sacrifices that you all have made in order for Andy to serve his community and to serve his country. At this time, I'll turn it over to
Chief Dorn, I appreciate your comments, and to Sergeant Bates, there have been some discussions that the chief has had about you, and they've been very tender, and it's hard to get a chief emotion. I mean, he doesn't want to ever show that emotion. He wants to always stay that tough chief, but he's been quite emotional and tender feelings about you, and he is very excited, along with the rest of us, to have you home. I think we better do a quick introduction. Who do you have here?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With me, I have my wife, Mia, my oldest son, Keegan, my son, Oren, my daughter, Malia, my daughter, Alina, my youngest son, Gunnar, and over here, my mother and father, Susan and Dennis Bates, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law, Reed and Leslie Porter.
There's just a few more, and not that we wanted to have you come up because of the space, but the brothers, sister, other family members, could you please stand too and be recognized? Captain James Bates, if you can quickly come down here, see if you can do it in 3 seconds, go. This is to take just a slight tangent, but it's a quick one. I was a younger brother, about right there. Yeah. No, 10 minutes. I was younger brother, and some of you who are younger brothers appreciate what older brothers can do for you. And to Sergeant Andy, I think that for just a moment to say a word about Captain James Bates, who was a graduate of Gilbert High School 2003, left for West Point, tour of duty in Afghanistan, platoon leader, pilot, S1 leader of his brigade, and now serving in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Came back for occasional visits, but as Les said, Operation Welcome Home, we want to do everything we can to welcome home our veterans who have served. And so, James, you continue to serve, and I just needed to take this moment as a younger brother looking up to older brothers. If you could please join me in giving Captain James Bates also a welcome home round of applause. On with the proclamation. And for Sergeant Bates, the first paragraph is the similar one to Captain Martinez, and I'll skip down to whereas Sergeant Andrew Bates, resident of the town of Gilbert, having served for more than 2 years in the United States Army, and whereas Sergeant Andrew Bates, having completed basic training as an honor graduate at Fort Benning, Georgia, and having completed advanced training at U.S. Army Airborne School and U.S. Army Sniper School, and whereas Sergeant Andrew Bates has served his country honorably throughout his service and deployment with Operation Enduring Freedom, Security Forces, Advisory in South Afghanistan, and as an advisor to the Afghanistan Uniformed Police and the Zubal Province, and whereas Sergeant Andrew Bates has received numerous medals and awards, including the Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, the NATO Service Medal, the Afghan Captain Medal with 1 Bronze Star, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M Device, Global War and Terrorism Medal with Overseas Bar, National Defense Service Medal, Army Service Medal, Parachutist Medal, Expert Rifle, Expert Pistol, Expert Hand Grenade, and B4 Identifier, and whereas in recognition of his service and the support of his family, and specifically his wife Mia, and wonderful children, and the support of his parents and in-laws while they have provided support while he has been away serving. And whereas in recognition of his 8 years of service with the Gilbert Police Department, now therefore I, John B. Lewis, Mayor of the Town of Gilbert, do hereby declare June 27, 2013 as Operation Welcome Home Sergeant Andrew Bates Day. Please join me in a nice big round of applause. Family, thank you so much for being here, and you'll be invited to sit down, although is this something you wanted to give first?
Yeah, at last count, there's 30-plus friends and other members of the Bates family that are here. Only a fraction of them stood up. I'm just glad I'm not the restaurant that has to feed all of them tonight. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Again, at this time, I'd like to ask Buchanan Davis to come forward on behalf of our U.S. Senator Jeff Flake.
Senator writes, Dear Andrew, I join with the community of Gilbert and welcome you home from your recent 12-month deployment to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Your sacrifice and that of your family is appreciated. The many awards and medals you have earned are a token of the appreciation and acknowledgement of your commendable service to your fellow soldiers and your country. It is an honor to be among the many in recognizing your dedicated service in preserving our freedoms. Again, welcome home and best wishes for the future. Signed, Jeff Flake, United States Senator.
And now Lee Huff on behalf of Congressman Matt Salmon. It's all for Matt.
Yeah, that's right. Sergeant Bates, I don't know if you remember, but you and I met before.
You're a familiar face, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah. I ended up taking the option of traffic school.
Did you learn anything? Did you learn anything?
I wasn't paying attention. You know how those things go. You know, I also have to mention, looking at you two, you guys look like you could be movie stars playing yourselves. Have you ever thought about that? No. No? Don't they? All right. From Congressman Salmon. Dear Sergeant Bates, after a distinguished record of service to our country, it is with recognition of your dedication and sacrifice that I welcome your return to the community. I want you to know that I'm deeply impressed with your service record and the numerous honors and medals that have been awarded you. I also thank your family, your big family, who has made tremendous sacrifices in supporting you while you served. I present you with the nation's flag, which has been flown over the nation's capital in your honor. I pray God's blessings to be upon you in all your future endeavors. Matt Salmon.
And at this time, I'd like to ask Representatives Messner and Peterson to come forward and present their proclamation. See, I got it right this time.
Good evening. Sergeant, it's an honor to be here representing the House of Representatives alongside my colleague, Warren Peterson. And we have a proclamation for you. Sounds similar to some others, but just consider it emphasis. Whereas Sergeant Andrew Bates, a resident of the town of Gilbert, Arizona, joined the United States Army in February of 2011 and was an honor graduate from basic training and Infantry 1 Station Unit training at Fort Benning, Georgia. And whereas Sergeant Bates has just returned from a 12-month deployment to Regional Command South, Afghanistan, in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. And whereas among his many honors and medals, Sergeant Bates has received the Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with 1 campaign star, Global War on Terror Service Medal with Overseas Bar, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M device, Armed Service Ribbon, NATO Service Medal, Parachutist Badge, Expert Rifle, Expert Pistol, Expert Hand Grenade, that one's my favorite, by the way, and the Sniper Skill Identifier. And whereas the town of Gilbert is proud to extend a warm welcome from home to Sergeant Bates, honoring him and his family for their commitment and service to the United States Army, this great state of Arizona, and the United States of America. Therefore, the members of the Arizona House of Representatives hereby recognize Sergeant Andrew Bates for his outstanding service in the United States Army and extend best wishes for his success and happiness in the future. Dated this 27th day of June 2013, signed Andrew M. Tobin, Speaker of the House, J.D. Mesnard, and Warren Peterson of the House of Representatives.
Thank you. We're almost done, all right, with you. At this time, I'd like to ask the good sergeant to come up and say a few words.
I'm truly humbled and very, very grateful to call all of you my friends and family. Thank you for coming out to honor Captain Martinez and myself this evening. The real hero here is my wife, and there's no doubt in my mind she deserves more medals and accolades than I do, and I want to thank her publicly for everything she's done for me. My parents raised me God-fearing and as a good citizen, and my father has 6 sons who are Eagle Scouts, and 4 of us have served in the armed forces, a long heritage all the way back to the Revolutionary War of soldiers who fought for our freedoms. And I am proud to be a member of the Gilbert community, where I can defend your freedoms, where I can protect your constitutional rights. And the September 11th, 2001 changed my life. It was an awakening for me where I had a different career path, and I chose this path of public service because I felt like I wasn't doing enough for my community and my nation. And I want you to know that this is a great nation. As I worked with police in Afghanistan, I saw things that are atrocious that public servants were doing that we don't have to deal with here. We have professionals that serve us who love and care for their own community, and we should be very grateful for that. I'm grateful for great leaders here in our community. I'm grateful for this Operation Welcome Home program. It doesn't feel like I should be honored up here. I came to one of these before for Captain Ed Miller, and it was really neat to see. My wife came to a few while I was gone, and I want to thank the town of Gilbert for recognizing our soldiers. Sometimes soldiers feel a little bit lost, and as I talk to my colleagues, they don't have similar programs where they're from, whether they're from Hawaii or New York or Missouri or wherever they're from. This is a unique and wonderful community. God has blessed us here, and I am thankful for those who serve and make this community what it is. Thank you very much.
If you ever decide to run for office, I want to your campaign. Thank you for your service. Thank you. You may sit down. Thank you both. Thanks to the families. And now I'm the only thing that's standing between you and either a wonderful council meeting, all those goodies outside, dinner, or just a pleasant home or evening at home. So bear with me. I have just a few more things I need to impart with you. Please look at either the reverse side of our program or the screen that you see behind you. These are the groups and individuals who have contributed their time, talents, and resources to this program and this event. I want to thank Jet Limo. For those of you who saw that huge stretch Humvee limo, we joked about it in a committee meeting one night, and Jet Limo came up with one for us, and they have provided the transportation for our families, both to and from the restaurant that they will be eating at this evening. I'd also like to thank Harvey American Public House restaurant. They are providing the dinner for at least the immediate family members. You know, but for all you other restaurant owners, you know, think about this. You're giving away 12, 15 free dinners, and there's another 30 that you know they're on the hook for. So maybe this is a good thing. The boxes that you saw me giving to each of the families come from Elizabeth's moment of joy. I was tempted to look inside to see what sort of goodies. All I know is that they were cold, and that usually means really good stuff. Gilbert Daily Press, in addition to the baked goods, each of the families received a $100 American Express card. Gilbert Daily Press gave those to the families. Busing Corporation has given each of the families 4 tickets to a Diamondbacks game. And so as I'm met with the family and I'm looking at these 2 donations, I can already see the future, at least in the Bates family. The boys are going to a baseball game, and the women are going shopping into a movie. Now, just so I'm not stereotyping, maybe the young ladies are the baseball fans, and the boys would rather go to a movie with their dad. It'll be up to you guys, but please enjoy. I want to thank Joe Heller, the American Legion Post 39, and the Arizona Patriot Guard Riders. Again, thank you very much. And I'd like to take this time to thank the Town of Gilbert staff for everything that they basically do. It's mostly behind the scenes. They make sure that the proclamations are typed up, a lot of the goings-on that nobody sees, but the committee certainly does, and we appreciate those efforts. I also want to thank the Gilbert Small Business Alliance and the entire Operation Welcome Home Committee for everything that they have contributed to make this evening possible. I got in trouble last time for asking them to stand. I won't do that again. Now, for all of the Gilbert businesses that would like to get involved in Operation Welcome Home, you've seen that we take gift cards. Flowers have been donated. The restaurants, the limo, a few of the other services that are obvious. But the ones that are not so obvious that we've had our businesses stand up and offer, tax services, oil changes, all those sorts of things that the families need while their loved one is deployed away from the family. So we can make use of a lot of things on their behalf. Now, when I was out looking at that table full of snacks, which, by the way, since I'm allergic to wheat, I can't have any of it, I met James and his lovely wife. And I made a comment about, boy, it must be interesting when you guys get together for Thanksgiving dinner, who's saluting whom. And I didn't realize at the time that James was the younger of the 2 brothers. Now I understand why Andrew said he would never salute James. Now, our next Operation Welcome Home ceremony is not yet scheduled. We expect the next one to be in either September or October. It will be a little cooler. For those of you who watched me for years up on that dais, I can sweat, but it takes 110 degrees to apparently make it happen. So, if you know of if you have a loved one or have a friend that is a Gilbert resident that is coming back from their first tour of duty since we've been doing Operation Welcome Home, please pick up a form on the table at the back or go to our website, the town's website, or our Facebook link, because this program is only successful if we get the applications in. All right? And one last announcement, and I have permission to do this. Within the last 2 weeks, the Operation Welcome Home Committee has received 2 cash donations totaling $3,200. The biggest single cash donation was $3,000, and that came from Roger and Betsy Pollard, and that was in honor of Corey Remsburg, who we honored just a few weeks ago. Mr. Pollard is also a Vietnam veteran, and he remembers those days when there was no such thing as Operation Welcome Home. In fact, you were lucky to walk through the airports in places like San Francisco and escape, without injury. But he was so impressed with that ceremony and 1 or 2 others that he attended, and especially so moved by Corey's story, that he wanted to do something to make sure that this program continued and to begin the process that we've talked about on the committee to take Operation Welcome Home to that next level. Now, in typical military fashion, the first thing they told us was, you cannot tell anybody who donated this money. And that's one of the things that we've seen with this. One of the big reasons why we haven't been able to get honorees during for the last year or so. Sergeant Bates said it, it's all about, none of them feel like they want to be honored. But this is one of the traditions that we need to establish and that we need to perpetuate with every generation, the honoring of our veterans and our servicemen and women. And the only way we can do that is to bring the individuals forward in the fashion that we do here in the town of Gilbert. But I talked with Roger, and I said, we want to let people know what you have done, especially in honor of Corey, so that hopefully we will get additional contributions. I mentioned expanding the scope of Operation Welcome Home, and that's the next step that Councilmember Daniels and I and others have talked about, not just providing these ceremonies for our servicemen and women, but to be able to be there and provide additional services and whatever we can do for the veterans 6 months from now, a year from now, and 2 years from now. Certainly Corey is the inspiration for that, but even the ones who come back, like Robert and Andrew, there are things that they may need, and we want to be there to help them. And so now I would like to ask all of you to please rise for the retiring of the colors. And please remain standing as the family is escorted out by the Arizona Patriot Guard, and they will go out by the 9/11 Memorial for a few moments. It is hot, all right? But you will have a chance to express your gratitude and take photos. I've mentioned the refreshments out there. They are the result of friends and family of the Bates. Please, last time I looked, there's probably a plate full for every person standing at this point. And on behalf of the Town Council, again, I want to thank you for your support. And for those of you who have nothing, would like to see what goes on at a council meeting, as soon as we get done here, the council has to go to work. Would you please retire the colors?
Salute. Ready? 2. Retrieve. Retrieve. Colors. Right face. Forward arc.
Would the Patriot Guards please escort the family out?